Okay, so everybody is muted. Hi, everyone. I am going to be teaching a standard Vinyasa class today, good for people who don't practice that often or haven't a lot of yoga experience, but are interested in pushing themselves a little bit. Also good for intermediates. I will explain every pose, how to get into it, and where you should feel it. And I will also make it challenging enough for an intermediate practitioner to still get some good yoga in. So today I'm using a playlist that is all instrumental, and it's under my Spotify, Maren Leah, Marenleah, and I'm using Soul, SOL, number 2. But if you would rather have pop music playing, you can do that. Also, I always have my space heater here. I use it sometimes because I think that it helps when the room is warm, especially with good stretching. It doesn't get the room that hot, but it definitely can take the chill out of the air, which is really nice. And that's great for a home practice. You can get them really cheap online or at Walmart or something like that. But I think that they're a handy tool for taking Vinyasa classes. Awesome, so I'm gonna count down from 3. When I hit 1, take a pause and then press play. That way we're all on the same music schedule. So 3, 2, 1, play. Wonderful. So let's begin in child's pose. Knees out wide, big toes to touch in the back. Your chest and belly sinking down between your knees. Let your forehead come down to the floor. If this is too much on your back, you can bring your knees in a little bit. Maybe embryo's pose works even better for you. That's when your knees are together. You can bring your hands back behind you, especially if you have shoulder issues. Grab your heels, let your forehead come down. Start to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Begin to arrive on your mat. Start to notice where your mind is. Start to notice how your body feels. And without changing it, just start to notice your breath. So as most of you know, I live in Southern California, and all of our yoga studios have closed down, the ones that practice on the inside. All gyms are shut down again because of COVID. And I've been practicing with my normal studio that now practices outside because it's the only way that we can get together and practice. And we're on a dirty sidewalk in between a car wash and a group fit F45 storefront that now also practices outside, and they yell drills to each other, and they have loud music playing. So in a lot of ways, it's not ideal for a yoga practice. Lots of noise. People are smoking cigarettes in the parking lot not far from us. Sometimes we'll get sprayed with water from the car wash. I'm not kidding. And sometimes the smells from the car wash, because they're using recycled water, are quite pungent. But I said the other day at class, when somebody was complaining about it and saying that this wasn't for them, I said, well, this is where the yoga starts. right? This is where all of our teachings, all the stuff that we're learning about, being able to have a non-reactive mind, to not react, to not get upset, to be able to just focus on our breath no matter what's happening outside of our bodies. That's where this comes in. And hopefully that meant something to the person. But it got me thinking a lot about where is the right place to practice yoga. Is there ever a perfect place? There's always going to be distractions. But we should use our breath to become present, to become aware of our bodies and nothing else. Start to feel your breath deepen here. Notice your inhales lift your back, expand your chest. Notice your exhales drop your chest closer to the floor. Maybe your back softens a little bit. Let's take a few deep, full breaths together in this child's pose. Inhale deeply through your nose. Open your mouth and sigh it out. One more, just like that. Inhale deeply and completely through your nose. Hold it at the top. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Now gently close your lips. Inhale deeply through your nose. And then exhale deeply and completely through your nose, constricting the back of your throat. This is Ujjayi Pranayama breath. Take this breath on your own. In through your nose and out through your nose. This breath builds heat inside of us. It starts from the inside out. It also brings us back to this space when our mind starts to wander. Maybe we're grabbing onto distractions. Maybe you're going right for that supermarket list or something that you have to do. Just notice it. Don't be hard on yourself, and then come back to your breath. Now from this child's pose, pull up in your lower belly. So pull your lower belly up and in. That's the Uddiyana Bandha. Keep that bandha engaged throughout class if you can. It's an up and in feeling, like you're sucking in your lower belly, toning it. But keep that engagement there. This also builds heat inside of us. And then pull up on the base of your spine, the Mula Bandha. So together, those two bandhas create a bandha lock. It's an engagement inside of us. It builds heat within us. With your next inhale, walk your hands in, come up onto all fours. Your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. You can tuck your toes or don't tuck your toes. With your inhale, drop your belly, spread your chest, look up, cow pose. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, cat pose. Inhale, arch your back, spread your chest, look up. Exhale, push your palms into the mat, push your spine up. Now come to a neutral spine, a flat back. Inhale, reach your right arm out in front of you, and then your left leg back behind you. Notice if you're swaying your hips one side or the other, and try to stay your belly engaged and equal pressure for your hand and your knee. With your exhale, bring your left knee to your right elbow. It's a squeeze under your belly. Inhale, send it long. Exhale, squeeze under your belly. Inhale, send it long. And now with your exhale, reach back for your foot. So you're going to swing your right arm to the right and grab for your foot. If you can't get there, it's okay. You don't have to. If you get your foot, press the top of your foot into your hand and lift that thigh up. Also, make sure your shoulder isn't by your ear. You're pulling and lifting your chest. Look over your right shoulder. One more inhale. And release. Inhale, send it long. Exhale, set it back down on the mat. Inhale, your left arm reaches out, right leg straight back. You're engaging your right glute, pulling your belly up and in. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, send it long. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, send it long. Now swing your left hand to the left, back behind you, grab your foot if you can. Push the top of your foot into your hand and lift. One more deep inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, send it long. And then exhale, set it back down on the mat. Start to sway your hips side to side so you feel this in the outsides of your glutes. Take any movements that you need right now, whatever your body is craving. You can do some more cat-cows. Maybe you try some twists where you thread the needle. Also, you can tuck your toes, stretch out the bottoms of your feet, turn your palms around. Just take a few minutes to take any movements that your body is craving. I urge you to close your eyes and just feel, not worrying about what anybody else expects of you or what you're supposed to look like. Just breathe. Over the next 5 or so breaths, start to come back to that neutral spine tabletop position. No rush to get there. From tabletop, tuck your toes under. With your inhale, lift your knees up to a hover just for a moment so you're turning your belly on again. Remember that Mula Bandha is pulling up and your lower belly, the Uddiyana Bandha, is pulling up and in. One more inhale. Exhale, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Maybe you walk out your feet here. Start to link breath to movement. So one inhale, one movement. One exhale, another movement. Maybe you lift a leg one at a time to start stretching out your hamstrings. You could try some twists if you'd like. When your right hand reaches for your left ankle, you look up under your left armpit. And then start to come to stillness in this downward facing dog. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, let your heels drop to the right. So you'll feel this on the outside of your leg, especially that right leg, the IT band. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, heels drop to the left. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, heels down towards the mat. It's okay if they don't touch. Inhale, come up high on your toes, look between your hands, and exhale, tiptoe your way up to the top of your mat. Step your feet 2 fists distance apart. Grab your elbows, start to sway side to side. Shake your head yes, shake your head no, shake it yes again. Let the weight of your upper body pull the crown of your head down towards the floor. With your next exhale, let your hands trickle down towards the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Look over the tip of your nose. You're creating space in your spine. Exhale, forward fold, a little deeper this time. Maybe a bend in your knee. Inhale, slowly roll up to standing. Your head comes up last, and reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Samastitihi, close your eyes or soften your gaze. Thumb knuckles pressed against your heart. This is where we set our mantra, our intention for this class. Maybe it's a word or a phrase. Anything that's meaningful to you. When you start to lose yourself in a thought, use this mantra to come back to this space. Maybe with every inhale you say it, and then with every exhale you say it again. Let's take a deep breath together right here. Inhale deeply through your nose. Open your mouth, send it all out. Flutter open your eyes. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, bring your right hand to your right hip. Step your left foot behind your right foot so that your pinkies are lined up. And then take a side bend that way, opening up your chest towards the ceiling. Inhale, come back to center. Step your feet so that they're alongside each other. And then exhale, your left hand comes to your left hip. Your right foot is behind your left foot. Pinky's lined up. Take a side bend that way, opening up your chest. Inhale, come back to center. Release your hands back behind you. Step your feet hip distance again. And start to inhale, get really tall, and exhale, lean back. It's a supported back bend. So you're using your hands, you're pushing your hips forward. If you want to release your neck, you can. Inhale, slowly start to stand back up. Exhale, forward fold as your hands trace the backs of your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, hands come down, step back to a high plank. Now hold that here. So you're squeezing everything in. You're pushing your palms down, especially that spot in between your first finger and your thumb. Really ground that down. And you're pushing so much that the spot in between your shoulder blades is puffed up towards the ceiling. Take one more inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, shift forward so that your shoulders pass your wrists. As you exhale, bend your elbows in towards your sides, chaturanga, and then release down onto your belly. Untuck your toes so the tops of your feet are pressing down into the mat. Walk your fingertips away and tent your hands so they look like spiders. Elbows pointed up towards the ceiling. With your inhale, lift your chest, look up. Stretching out your back. Exhale, let your forehead come down. One more time, just like that. Inhale, lift your chest, look up. Exhale, let your forehead come down. Inhale, lift up one more time, but this time, with your exhale, let your right shoulder dip down. Look over your left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center, and then exhale the other side. Remember, everything I suggest is just a suggestion. It's always optional. You do what's right for you. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, bring your forehead down. Walk your hands in beside your lower ribs. Now with your inhale, push your palms into the mat, lift your chest. If you want to hover your thighs in upward dog, you can. You also don't have to. Upward facing dog, chest lifts. Exhale, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. 3 deep, full breaths right here. So the purpose of Sun A is to warm up the spine and start linking breath to movement. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, travel to the top of your mat, step or jump up. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up to standing, reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, you have the side bend to the right. Inhale, back to center. If doing it this way doesn't work, don't. Do it a different way. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, come back to center. This time, goal post your arms. Take a baby back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. Step or jump back, high plank to low plank. If you jump, go right into low plank. Take the vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. If ever I suggest a vinyasa and you've had enough, don't take it. Just meet us in downward facing dog. Deep, full breaths. One more time through this Sun A. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up to standing, reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, back to center. Take a baby back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down, vinyasa. Deep, full breaths right here. Remember, if you need to take a break, a child's pose, you can take it whenever you want. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, and inhale, reach your arms up, look up, chair pose. Utkatasana, so all your weight is back towards your heels. And tuck your tailbone under, sit back like you're sitting into a little chair, and just check down. Make sure you can see your toes, because if you can't see it, it probably means that your knees are far forward. You want to pull those knees back and sit down low. One more inhale, chest lifts, fingertips lift. And then exhale, sweep your right fingertips down and back. Take a peek over your right shoulder. Maybe you're so low that your fingertips graze the floor. Inhale, back to chair. Exhale, left fingertips down and back. Inhale, back to chair. Exhale, forward fold as you straighten your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. Vinyasa any way you'd like, or just step right back to downward dog. Remember, you are in control of your practice. This 1 hour is all yours, no one else's. Inhale, your right leg lifts high to the sky. Exhale, knee in towards your nose. Squeeze it and get that knee up high. Hold it. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, knee in towards your nose again, and then gently step it through. Let your back knee come down, untuck your back toes. You can keep them tucked for extra stability if you want, but maybe you try to challenge yourself a little bit more this time. With your inhale, lift your chest, lift your hands up. Deep bend in your front knee. Your right hip is pulling back, left hip is pulling forward. Fingertips, your pinkies, are turning inward, so that engages your arms. One more deep inhale. Exhale, bring your hands down to the floor and sit your hips back as you straighten your front leg. Right toes point up towards the ceiling. That way you really get a deep stretch, not only in your upper leg, but in your lower leg too. So the calf gets a really good stretch. If you'd like to sit your hips back and down, you can. I like this one because it's a little bit of a rest, but it's only a rest for me because I don't have any knee problems. If you have a knee problem, then definitely stay up higher. You can also tuck a t-shirt under here, something soft, a towel rolled up. But just make sure you're folding and you can feel it in the back of your right leg, getting that hamstring stretch. Slowly start to bring weight back into your right foot, deep bend in your right knee, palms frame out your right foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee. Now plant your left palm on the inside of your right foot. Inhale, dragonfly twist. Right fingertips are reaching up towards the ceiling. You're pulling back lightly in your right hip. And you're leaning back like there's a wall behind you. Come up really high on those back toes. Those are your left toes. One more inhale, reach. Exhale, right hand comes down. Left foot steps back to meet your right. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, your left leg lifts. Exhale, knee in towards your nose. Squeeze it in. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, squeeze and hold, and then step it through, heel to toe. Beautiful. So let your back knee come down, untuck or tuck your back toes, whatever works for you. Inhale, reach your arms up. Chest is lifted, pulling back in your left hip, pressing forward in your right hip, and deep breathing. Next, exhale, let your hands come down to the floor and sit your hips back as you straighten your front leg. If you have full Hanumanasana and want to take that when we do these half splits, you can. That's full splits. You can also use blocks if you need to, and then you can try splits. You place a block on either side of your hip here to give you some height so that you're not dropping in if it feels uncomfortable. So from those half splits, start to bring weight back into your left foot. Plant your right palm on the inside of your right foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee. Inhale, left fingertips reach up. So there's like fire in your fingers, right? Energy shooting out of your fingers. You're pulling back in your left hip and leaning back like there's a wall behind you, opening up your chest. You're taking a twist here. One more inhale. Exhale, left hand comes down. Step your left foot back to meet your right, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms up, chair pose. All your weight is back towards your heels. Exhale, chair twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, chair twist to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. Step or jump back, Vinyasa. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee in towards your nose, squeeze. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, squeeze and step it through. Back heel comes down. Back knee. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, dragonfly twist, elongating each breath. Exhale, right hand comes down, step it back, Vinyasa. Remember to elongate every single breath. Slow, long inhales, slow, long exhales. You're in control of that heartbeat. So if it's beating really fast and you want to pant, try to rein that in using your breath. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee in towards your nose. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, knee in towards your nose again. And step it through, back knee down. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, dragonfly twist. If ever you want to stay in a pose longer, you do it. Exhale, left hand comes down, step it back, Vinyasa. Remind yourself, this is your practice. So you can stay in a pose longer. You can come out of a pose when you want. This is all you. Deep, full breaths right here. One more time through, one breath to one movement. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, chair twist right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, chair twist left. Inhale, back to chair center. Exhale, forward fold. I bet you can feel the burning in your thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. Step or jump back, Vinyasa. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee in towards your nose. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, knee in again and step it through. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, dragonfly twist. Exhale, right hand comes down, step it back, Vinyasa. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee in towards your nose. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, hold it and step it through. Inhale, low lunge, reach. Exhale, fold. Walk it forward. Inhale, reach and lengthen, open up. Exhale, left hand comes down. Step it back, Vinyasa. Inhale, come up high on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees and jump or step to the outsides of your mat. So it's a wide stance. It looks like this. Doesn't have to look just like that, but you want to get out wide towards the sides of your mat. Right into Malasana, your hips sink down low. Close your eyes or soften your gaze, thumb knuckles pressed against your heart. Notice if you can feel the heart beating with your thumbs. And slow down your heart using your breath. Make sure you're sitting up tall. Hips are sinking down low. Some people have to stay up on their toes for this. That's okay, you can do that. Your hands can stay on the floor if you'd like. You do you here. Maybe you're using your elbows to push your knees out wider. Eyes are closed, flutter them open. And then with your inhale, slowly start to stand up. And bring your feet in, Samastitihi. Beautiful. With your inhale, you're going to step your left foot all the way back to the back of your mat and dial your back heel down. Open up your arms to a T, warrior two. So there's a deep bend in your front knee. Now notice if you're leaning forward and pull it back, like there's a tug of war happening between your fingertips, but let the person behind you win. Just a little bit. And you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. A cool way to do that is bring your palms facing up. Now squeeze your shoulder blades together and then just turn your palms back, leaving the eye of each arm facing up towards the ceiling. Recommit to that deep bend in your front knee. And you're pushing down onto the pinky side of your back foot so that you're engaging your back leg, so that leg isn't forgotten. With your next inhale, straighten your front leg. Reach over with your left hand, grab your right wrist. Now pull it up overhead, sky archer. You're pulling so much that you're opening up your right side body, creating space in between every single rib here. Your chest is turned up towards the ceiling. Maybe you're even looking at your hands. Beautiful. Now with your exhale, start to bend back into your right knee. Your right forearm comes to your right thigh, and your left arm reaches up overhead, extended side angle. If you want to release your right hand down to the floor, you can. If you want to take a half bind or a full bind, you can do that right now. But keep your core engaged, especially that lower belly pulling up and in, and then try to turn your chest upwards towards the ceiling. So it's this left shoulder that's rolling back. Beautiful. Now if you're looking up, look down at your right foot. That's where we're going to launch into. You're going to be swinging your left arm overhead and planting it down about a foot in front of your right foot and off to the left side just a little. And you're kicking your back leg up. Your right hand can come to your right hip, or maybe it extends up towards the ceiling, revolved half moon. So this is a really weird feeling pose, right? You've got it in your IT band, you're twisting up, this back leg really wants to come down. So you have to focus on engaging that left glute to lift your heel up. Try to extend that foot. And then think about stacking your right shoulder on top of your left shoulder, and again, leaning back. Beautiful. Slowly bring that back foot all the way down. We're going to pivot to turn towards the left, right into star pose. So your fingertips are reaching up, your legs are straight, your toes are turned out just a little bit. And then take a little back bend here. Come back to that slow, deep breath. One more deep inhale. Exhale, hinge forward, right into a wide leg forward fold. Now there are many variations you can take here. You can walk your hands between your legs, pulling your chest through. If you want to try a bind, sometimes I walk my feet in a little bit. I reach behind my back, grab for my hands, and then lift my head. You also could take a headstand if you have that in your practice right now. So you do you here. Maybe you just close your eyes and let this inversion take over. Fresh blood rushing towards your brain. If you're going to try a headstand and you've never tried one before, this is the perfect opportunity, right? So you actually want to walk your feet back a little bit. You want to be able to see your hands. So it's almost a triangle from your head to your hand to your other hand. Then maybe one at a time you bring one knee in and the other knee in. Maybe if you're into headstands, you go right into a press up. Just be you. No attachment to what it's supposed to look like or what you're supposed to be doing right here. Beautiful. If you're inverted, start to come back down and walk your hands underneath your shoulders. Awesome. So start to walk your hands, actually, with your exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest up. We're going to pivot and turn towards the back of the mat. So your left toes are now turned towards the back of the mat. Your right toes are at about a 45-degree angle. You're going to launch up off of your back leg right into an airplane or warrior three. So bend into your left knee, lean forward and launch up. Fingertips can reach back behind you like an airplane, or maybe they're out in front of you if you have the room, right into warrior three. So keep your chest lifted. Think up dog in your chest. Yes, and engage that right glute. Awesome, guys. And guess what? If you fall out of it, you just come right back into it. It's okay. Nobody cares. Nobody's looking. This is your practice. You have to fall 1,000,000 times before you land it. Next, exhale. Let your hands come down to the floor, standing split. So release your forehead towards your knee. If you want to try to keep your right hip angled down, you can. It's a totally different stretch. In fact, standing split is really more of like a standing L pose if you're keeping your hips in line. But if you want a good psoas stretch, release it, let it go, and breathe. Exhale, let your right foot come down to meet your left. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up to standing, reach your arms up, look up. And then exhale, hands come to your heart, Samastitihi. Just close your eyes for a moment. Maybe you actively come back to that mantra. Notice what's happening with your heart. Notice if you want to pant, and return back to your breath. That deep, loud Ujjayi breathing. Flutter your eyes open if they were closed. With your next inhale, we're going to step your right foot all the way back to the back of your mat. Dial your back heel down. Deep bend in your front knee. Open up your arms to a T, warrior two. So all those cues I mentioned before, and think about pulling your left hip back just a little bit. Notice if your left knee wants to swing in, and try to press it out so that it is tracking on top of your heel. You're gazing over your left fingertips, deep bend in that front knee. Try not to hinge forward again. Lean back a little bit. With your next inhale, reach over with your right hand, grab your left wrist, and then straighten your front leg and pull sky archer, opening up your left side body. Deep, full breaths, turning your chest upwards towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Start to bend back into your left knee. Left forearm comes to your left thigh. Your right arm swims up overhead into extended side angle. So you can keep your forearm here. Try not to dump your weight into your forearm or try not to round down. So you're really lifting and lengthening as you're opening up your knee. If you want to bring your left hand down, you can. If you want to try those half binds or your full bind, you can. Do what works best for you here. Remember, you're rolling your right shoulder open. If you have the bind, slowly start to release it. Now look down at your left foot. Remember, that's where we're going. You're going to windmill your right arm overhead to plant it down, launching up into that revolved half moon. You can come up on your right fingertips. Left fingertips are reaching up. Right heel is lifting towards the ceiling. Engaging that right glute. Stacking your left shoulder on top of your right shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale, step your right foot back towards the back of your mat. Open up your arms to star pose. Chest is lifted. Toes are turned out slightly. Maybe a little back bend here. Now just to change things up, start to bend into your knees. Goal post your arms, coming into goddess pose. So make sure your knees are pulling back behind you. You can try a mudra with your hands if you'd like. Tuck your tailbone under, sink low.
Inhale, come up on your right toes, so your right heel lifts. Now notice if your hips are shifting, try to keep them centered. Exhale, right heel comes down. Inhale, left heel comes up. Sink down lower. Exhale, left heel comes down. Inhale, both heels come up. And breathe. Focus on one tiny little spot that's not moving. Sink down lower. Notice if that spot in between your eyebrows is all wrinkled. Let it go. Don't clench your jaw. One more inhale. One more exhale. Inhale, let your heels come down. Lift right back up into star pose. Exhale, hinge forward into that forward fold. That should feel really good right now. Awesome. Now, bring your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers. We're just going to take a good shoulder stretch here. So, allowing your hands to wind up overhead. So you're getting a good hamstring stretch and a good shoulder stretch. Beautiful. Let your hands come down towards the floor. Walk them in underneath your shoulders. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest up, and you're going to turn your right toes towards the front of your mat. That was our transitional pose to switch sides. Now, we're going to launch up off of our back leg, right into the airplane or warrior three. You might have to take a couple of steps in with your back foot, that's okay. Or maybe you challenge yourself to start to bend into your front leg, shift your weight forward, and launch up. Chest is lifted, shoulder blades are squeezing back if you're trying airplane. If you want to go for full warrior three, remember to keep that lift in your chest instead of rounding down. One more inhale. Exhale, let your hands come down to the mat, standing split. You can do the standing L pose to keep your hips in line, or if you need an extra psoas stretch, you know your body better than anyone, right? So you do you. One more deep inhale. Exhale, step it down to meet your right leg. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now come up onto your toes and sit your hips back and down towards your heels. Just getting a deep foot stretch here. If you want to challenge your balance and come up on your toes, maybe your hands come to heart center for this toe stand balance, you can. Maybe you really engage your thighs and lift your butt up just a little bit. It's hard. Deep, full breaths. One more inhale. Exhale, bring your hands down and sit your butt all the way back. Ah, beautiful. Slowly start to roll down onto your back. Bring your feet to the mat so your knees are pointed up towards the ceiling. Palms are down at your sides. With your inhale, lift your hips up into bridge pose. You can shimmy your shoulders under your back. Remember, if you want to use a block for under here, you can do that. With any pose, especially balancing poses, like when we did the revolved half moon, you can use a block to bring the floor closer to you. So you can always modify however you need to make this practice more accessible for your body. One more inhale. Exhale, roll all the way down onto your back. You can try one more bridge pose, or if you have full wheel in your practice, you can take that right now. Any back bend of your choice. If you're in full wheel, make sure you're trying to press your chest towards the back of your mat as much as possible. Maybe straightening your arms. Yeah, it doesn't have to get straight. You're just feeling that engagement and you're feeling that shoulder flexibility start, that opening up of your chest. One more inhale. Exhale, roll all the way down onto your back. Inhale, lift your legs up like you're walking on the ceiling. So you're like the letter L. Feet are flexed. You can push the balls of your feet up towards the ceiling if you'd like. Now this pose, if you have some back issues, you can always roll up a towel underneath your sacrum here, and that kind of lifts your hips up. You can also, if you don't have a block or a towel nearby, you can make fists with your hands and place that under here
And notice how different that makes everything feel. Now, it might not feel great for your fists, but it probably relieves your back, any kind of back discomfort. So you can stay just like this, or rock up onto your shoulders for shoulder stand. Pushing the balls of your feet directly above you, engaging your tush, engaging your thighs, squeezing. Try to straighten out. Notice, this is really common, I've noticed in class, that people think they're straight here, but really you have to pull your tush in to straighten out. One more inhale. Exhale. You can stay where you are or let your toes come overhead into plow. Now, if this is really tough, you can always have a block underneath your toes too to bring the floor to your feet here. Or just stay right where you are. They can hover. Deep, full breaths. Fight for your breath. I know it's hard to breathe, so you have to work extra hard to take those deep and complete inhales and deep and complete exhales. If you'd like to lower your knees to either ear, you can do that now. This pose is great for digestion, great for headaches, giving your head a little squeeze, and all inversions, getting fresh blood towards your brain. Inhale, start to straighten your legs, lift them back up, hands supporting your lower back if you'd like, and then exhale, roll all the way down onto your back. And bring the bottoms of your feet together just for a moment of Supta Konasana. Now, this is a pose that for some people is really uncomfortable. You can put blocks or towels or anything underneath your knees here. You can also use your hands to support you. Or just let your knees flop out. A brief hip opener. Using your hands, slowly close your thighs. You're going to cross your right leg over your left leg. So we're not hooking the ankle. We're not doing a figure four. We're actually going to do a reclined cow face pose. So you're crossing your legs almost like you're crossing your fingers. Slowly bring your knees in towards your chest and reach for your feet. It's okay if you can't get there. If you can't get there, it's okay. You can grab your knees. If you can grab for your feet, slowly let your shoulders melt down towards the floor. If you don't feel this enough, pull your feet away from each other and then pull them down towards the mat. You should really feel this, especially in your IT bands. Try to close your eyes or soften your gaze and just surrender to this pose. It might feel uncomfortable, but remember, discomfort is temporary. You're opening up here. Try not to be attached to the way this is supposed to look. Don't be attached to grabbing your feet. Wherever you are is right where you're supposed to be. Slowly release your left foot down onto the floor again. And then let your knees drop to the left. Open up your arms to a T and turn your head towards the right. Maybe you keep your eyes closed. coming into a supine twist. This is another one that if you want some support underneath your right knee as you twist, you can use your hand or maybe a towel or a block. Inhale, slowly roll back onto your back. You're going to unwind your legs, so plant your right foot beside your left foot, and then wrap your left leg over your right leg. With your exhale, bring your knees in towards your chest and reach for your feet, making sure you feel it as much as you want to feel it. Where can you find your edge here? That point of it being not enough if you stopped earlier, but too much if you went on too long. Any more would just be too much. Just find that point and then settle in there. That happy middle ground where you can soften. And release your feet. Plant your left foot down, keeping your legs crossed. This time let your knees fall to the right. Again, using any props you need, and open up your arms to a T. Turn your head to the left. Try to melt your shoulders down towards the mat. Inhale, slowly lift your knees back up, unravel your left leg, and then bring your knees in towards your chest, open up your knees wide and grab for the outsides of your feet, happy baby. So enjoy this nice hip opener, rocking side to side, massaging your lower back into the floor. You can straighten a leg one at a time, or maybe both legs. And release. Come all the way down onto your back. Extend your legs out long. You've made it to Shavasana. Arms away from your body. Palms up to receive the energy of the room, or palms down to ground you. Notice if your shoulders are up by your ears, and try to press them down lightly. Use this time as pure rest, of absorbing every single thing we just did into your body. I'll guide you out when it's time. slowly start to bring some awareness back into the space. Feel your breath start to deepen. Take a moment and notice how different your body feels from when we started this practice. Start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, roll out your wrists and ankles. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead, point your toes towards the front of the mat, take a full body stretch. Exhale, bring your knees in towards your chest, wrap your arms around your shins. Give yourself a real hug, this moment of gratitude you showed up today. I know it's easy to not do this practice from home, trust me, I know. But you did it. You gave yourself this gift, this 1 hour of peace for no one else but yourself. So thank yourself. When you're ready, roll onto your right or your left side, whatever side you need here, whatever side is calling to you. Just come back to either your intention from earlier, or maybe you come back to the idea of non-attachment, to not being attached to the way something is supposed to be in your head. Because expectation is only going to lead to disappointment. Whether it's doing yoga from home with messy clothes everywhere, or your kid banging on the door, or doing yoga on the sidewalk with car wash smells and sprays all over you, whatever it is, just be in the moment and be grateful. Letting go of what something's supposed to look like. Using your hands, push your way up to a comfortable seat, facing the front. Hands come to heart center. Eyes are closed or your gaze softened. Let's take a deep breath together right here. Inhale deeply through your nose. Hold it at the top. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Let's do one more, maybe a little deeper this time. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold it at the top. Sip in more air, a little more air. Hold it. Open your mouth and let it go. You are loved, you are brave, and you are enough. The love and light within me honors and respects the love and light within each and every one of you. And it is with this love and light that we are all connected. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm here. You can unmute.